Hi class, let's start the chapter. Okay, so in this chapter, what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about information technology as a service. Now, we need to see how has information technology evolved over the last 5 years. We also need to know how do my technical skills align with these technology evolution? Because it's an eye-opening. And also we're going to touch on what is the IT service management or ITSM and how these what do people process technology means for companies and for us in what it's required really to transition from technology from a project to a production environment. And we're going to explain these. So the first subject we're going to talk about it is the old days is when and 15 years ago or way more, we used to get excited whenever we got an email and we got the tons of mails. Today, I get excited if I just get a mail and I have a tons of emails. So times is changing. And here is what IBM used to brag about it in the 70s. They talking about having a server that carries 1 GB. Today, this USB is a 16 and 32 and higher. But why we have such a large size is because we have a lots of data and lots of application, and they are a big growth of within the
I'd like to.
application. So I like it to see that video whenever you're free, have time, and also look at these two videos, which is the data center, the largest data center is in Montreal, and also what's the future offices looks like. So whenever you're free, you look at these two links. So the question is that we need to look at it is the fact that technologies are transforming the foundation of a global business. For example, things that we need to look at it, a cloud and mobile computing, big data, machine learning, artificial intelligence or AI, sensors and intelligent manufacturing, advanced robotic and drones, clean energy technology, and more digitization in the field of B2B or business to business, B2C, business to consumers, and government to consumer, and all these things, more digitization. And all this resulted in new things that you hear about it, which is something like fintech companies, stack providers like Ubers and I don't know, Salesforce, OG collaboration suite that we are using today, different kind of collaborations, including this one, and more, which is that tells me comes and says, how do my technical skills align with this technology evolution? And unfortunately, we need to know one thing, the only constant thing in life is change, and IT has the fastest change so far in all other sectors and industries. So we need to adjust to speed of the change, but you need not to know everything, focus on certain product in certain sectors in the market, but understand the others how it works. Now, we come back to think about what is an IT service management or ITSM. And it's a bundle of the service that you select between them. A good example could be activities like the service catalog, incident management. We can talk about the change management, what kind of an incident, how they reply to it, how fast, service request, how it's done, service portfolio management, You'll need to, the different project management, service assets management, and all and knowledge management, definitely. And all these coded or folded in the service management, under service management, and you get all kind of report and dashboard and continue service improvement. So in the other subject that we want to talk about, what do people, process, and technology mean for me and for you? It's about people, information, technology. Never go technology, information, people. And there has to be a synergy, how people can use the information based technology tools to achieve a competitive advantage, in innovating new processes, do things cheaper and faster, and increase the revenue in the same time. But and overall, this is what's happening inside a company. Probably you need to look at executive support system or upward of information. You have the flow downward of information, which is decision support systems, which is built by the management, and the application used by middle and lower management. Horizontal, like an ERP and core solution. And there is the outward with the supplier and customers, which is a CRM and warehouse management system. These kind of an application who helps you for the information, the flow of the information. Now, so what is required to transition technology from a project to a production environment? Well, that's a big question. And we need to take a caution approach, and we take a one step backward and understand this is the challenge, is that, for example, in the field of ERP, we get 60% run to a problem implementation. 30% is they will not choose the same solution, and 20% is failing. That's a pretty high for a software. But why this is happening, why we have such issue? Because we cannot distinguish between this idea, 1 plus 2 is equal with 3, and 2 plus 1 equal with 3. 1 kilometer plus 2 kilometers equal with the 3 kilometer. How do you know that? Because I use math, 1 plus 2. And 1 kg plus 2 kg is a 3 kg. How do I know that? Is because 1 plus 2 equal with 3. So can we implement that in IT? Yes and no. In IT, 1 plus 2 is not equal with 2 plus 1. Could be equal, larger, or smaller. So you need to follow exactly the logic approach in it. But before we do that, we need also to know what the price we are paying for it and what kind of a value we are getting in this, as Warren Buffett puts it. And here's where we start with doing a research, internal research, and then we do evaluation and selection. Easy said, then it's done. But the breakdown of it is I have to do a research, requirement identification, IT architecture, overview and planning, list of enterprise vendors, for example, then request or RFI, request for information. And then we have to set up a decision model. We're going to explain and bring some sample of decision model. The next stage, when I'm doing the evaluation, I do an RFI response analysis, short of enterprise list of the companies. And then I do some kind of evaluation on site visit. Do not mix between these, please, because if you mix, this is where you say 1 plus 2 is not equal with the 2 plus 1. And then request for a proposal. Once you do a request for a proposal, you get the proposal, you do analysis, and then accordingly you build your contract and your project management. So first you do a project plan for selection and evaluation of which product you're looking for. So you do research, evaluation, and selection. But while you're doing that, you need to take into consideration these things that might go wrong. And common mistake, people don't know why. Your company does not know why they need this purpose. What's the purpose of that? And really, because you're not communicating the purpose, and they don't know really why. And you have to know your company, your college, your hospital, your business is unique. It's not like the next guy, neighbor, next hospital, or next college. It's unique, and you have to know that. And according to that uniqueness, you approach the vendors and which vendor can match you. Then you need to pay attention to your implementation, because you're putting lots of money and lots of investment there, and look for a long-term investment. Don't look for it as a short-term investment. But while you're paying attention to these, bottom line, there is challenges. You're going to run to challenges. And I'm not just a sample. You're going to have a technology challenges, and sometimes software, hardware compatibilities. You hear lots of marketing things versus the fact. And then you have internal challenges, which is you have a limited resources. People don't have time to pay attention of the implementation and configuration and all these things. And a project challenges also you have, which is you might have an unstructured plan, unclear scope. But the main thing that you need to focus on it is the fact you need to build consensus. All your team should agree with you to work on this together, just in case if something goes wrong, they can help you. So back to the evaluation, how I'm going to do evaluation. And you need to follow certain criteria. You might use IBM or Gartner or Technology Evaluation Center evaluation criteria. For example, in Gartner, they did the survey and they found out what the management looking for. And they found out that ability to excuse is at 25%, yet 15% rely on cost and functionality 15%. So this is how you evaluate each company. If some company can do really good, then ability to excuse, you give them a 25% of a total 100%, something like that. And the other way of looking at it, for example, you look at the way the technology evaluation centers, and they have a tendency to separate objective from subjective, because subjective, everybody can give any view, but the objective that cannot be, compromised. And the objective is your functionality in technology. You have to be really strict when it comes to the technology and functionality. But then you look at the market data or marketing, build your RFIs and script scenarios, and then the last thing you look at the reference. So if you have to build first your objective and build the rest, it's like a pyramid. You need to build it first. So now let's say you went through all these, now you start the project, and the project should not right away you go to implementation. You do a definition, and the definition you seek out an output, which is a scoping document, a gap, and a project plan. Once you did that, then you move to the pre-implementation, which is you're looking for to get a configuration document, has to be documented, and a user acceptance test them and see if they accept it, and the final pipe, which is a finalized training plan for implementation. Now then you start implementing, and your output should be implementing the whole gaps that you're looking for, user training, and execute UAT, which is user acceptance test. From there, you get these output, and then you move to operating and going live, which is if there is a data need to be migrated, you migrate it, but don't forget your post implementation, which is it's about you do a support, see your support document and contract, and close the project and audit. And all these has to be done in a way simplified, minimizing the risk, proving a process, and you have to have a very flexible, as a project, you have to be, project manager have to be very flexible in this case. So in the end, what we looked at the how has the information technology evolved in the last 5 years? How do my technical, and I said that you can focus on a certain product, but keep a wide view on others. What is IT? We explained that IT, service management, and people, process, and technology. What it's meant is to get more effective and efficient, and what is required to transition technology from a project to a production environment. We went to backward one step and start analyzing and plan for the plan, and then moved on with a project plan and how to do the implementation. In the end, I'd like to thank you. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. Bye-bye.